Okay. What about to get the unit vector of A? To get the unit vector of vector A, the vector divide by the magnitude. Okay, why? Because the vector of A, we have both magnitude and direction, right? If you divide by the magnitude, then you will only be left with direction, because unit vector, the magnitude is always 1. So this is the equation. To get the unit vector of A, you divide the vector of A with the magnitude. What do we mean by unit vector of A? You know what do we mean by unit vector of A? Can anyone answer? So let's say this is vector A, right? This is vector A. Vector A has a certain magnitude. For example, let's say this vector A is 5 centimeter. Okay? And it is pointing in this direction. Okay? Unit vector of A means that it is pointing in the same direction as A, but the magnitude is? What is the magnitude?
1.
1. Tu je beza dia. When you see the unit A here, when you see A subscript a capital letter, that means it is a unit vector of vector A. Meaning, magnitude is always 1, by direction is along vector A. So that is what we mean by unit vector along A. Okay, what else? This one, addition. Okay, so let's look at an example. Okay, this example you can find from my simplified notes. Okay. Okay, so let's look at example 1. If we have two vectors, vector A and vector B. Okay, so vector A is equal to 10ax minus 4ay plus 6az. And the second vector B is equal to 2ax plus ay. Find the component of vector A along ay. Okay, so the answer is, look at vector A. What is the component along ay? This is your ay. Next to it is negative 4. Okay, so you have to differentiate between component and magnitude. Kalau component, kalau ada negatif, you kena ambil kira. Okay? If the question asks what is the magnitude of vector A along AY, then the answer is 4. Even though you have a minus sign here, because magnitude should always be positive. Okay?
Okay.
So, kalau component, positif, positif, negatif, negatif. Kalau magnitude, it should always be positive. B, magnitude of 3a minus b. So first you have to find what is 3a minus b. Okay, so let's say this is, you can say this is actually another vector. So let's say you have another vector. Okay. This is equal to vector C. Let's say we name it as vector C, right? So first you have to find what is this vector C. So 3 times with vector A minus with vector B. So you do the normal algebra, 3 you times with all this, okay? And then you minus with this, okay? AX can only minus with AX. AY can only minus with AY, and AZ only minus with, here you don't have AZ, okay? So, and then you simplify. Okay, later you can try it on your own. And then after you get this new vector, the question asks you to find the magnitude, right? Or you can write it as this vector C. What is the magnitude? Or you can just write it as C. What is the magnitude? So from here, you just square all the magnitude of component X, Y, and Z. So 28 square plus negative 13 square plus 18 square root. So this is the magnitude for the new vector C, or 3a minus b. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what is a unit vector along A plus 2B? So again, this is a new vector. Let's say we name it as D. This is vector D. So first you have to find what is this vector D. Okay, so this one you can try it on your own. Okay, so A plus 2B, you should get this. Okay, and then you need to find the, you need to find what is the magnitude. So 14 square plus negative 2 square plus 6 square, square root, you get this. And then to find the unit vector, you have to use the equation vector divided by magnitude. Ingat tak equation tadi?
Ingat.
Ingat.
D divide by D, betul?
Betul.
So D tadi, this one, divide by D is this, so you get this. If you want to prove, is this a unit vector? Macam mana you nak prove jawapan you betul? Macam mana you nak prove ini memang unit vector?
Darab dengan magnitude.
You dah cari magnitude dia. Macam mana you nak cari magnitude of this vector? How do you find magnitude? Siapa tahu? Macam mana cari magnitude? Macam ni, sama macam ni. You square all the magnitude of x, y, and z kan? So 0.911 square plus negative 0.1302 square plus 0.3906 square, and then you square root. Dapat tak 1? Boleh try buat? Ada kalkulator?
Boleh.
Dapat tak 1?
Close to 1 lah.
Close to 1. So that means your answer is correct. That means this is the unit vector. You boleh check. Kalau you punya jawapan kan jauh sangat daripada 1, maknanya salah lah tu. It's a way to check. Okay, unit vector, the magnitude will always be 1. Okay? Okay, and then another thing that I want to teach you is that about position vector and distance vector. Okay. So what is position vector? Let's say you have point P1 located at x, y, z. Okay? So to find the position vector just mean that it start from origin and end at point P. Maknanya starting point di origin. Tu je maksud position vector. Okay? So how to define this position vector? You can just write it as R1, or it doesn't really matter. You can write as R1 or R1 or RP. Sorry. RP. Okay, doesn't matter. So it just directly take the coordinate. So let's say coordinate is x, y, z, then the vector is x, ax, plus y, ay, plus z, az. Kenapa? Sebab reference the origin. Where is origin? It is at 0, 0, 0, right? So because the reference is at 0, 0, 0, so to get the vector, you just directly take the coordinate. Okay? Let's say we have P2 is at x prime, y prime, z prime. So to define the position vector is just x prime ax plus y prime ay plus z prime az. It's simple, right? So let's say point P is at 3, 4, 5. Okay, the first one must always refer to x, this one y, this one z. Okay? So to define this position vector of P, Rp is equal to 3, you just directly take the magnitude 3ax plus 4ay plus 5az. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, simple, right? Okay. As long as the vector starts from origin, then we call it a position vector. So the second type is a distance vector. A distance vector means that the vector does not start from origin. It starts from another point, a point other than the origin. So let's say we have this 0 is the origin, and then we have point P, and we also have point Q. So if the vector starts from origin and ends at point P, then this is a position vector P, right? And another vector, if it starts from origin and ends at point Q, then this is also another position vector RQ. But if we have a vector that starts from point P and ends at point Q, then we cannot call this a position vector, but we call it a distance vector RPQ. The vector starts from P and ends at Q. So how do we determine this vector? You just minus the coordinate of the destination of the end, which is Q, minus with the starting point. Okay? Do we have, let's look at an example. Let's look at an example. Okay, so let's say we have P is located at 0, 2, 4. And then Q is at -3, 1, 5. Can you determine position vector P? So position vector P is equal to 2AY plus 4AZ, referring to here. Because X, the magnitude is 0, so you don't have any component for AX. Okay, this is your position vector P. Okay. What about position vector Q? Do you know? Can you tell me what is position vector Q?
-3x.
Yes. Plus
Plus
AY
AY
plus
plus
5
5
AZ. Okay, senang je kan? So now distance vector RPQ, meaning that vector starts from P and ends at Q. So to find this, you minus coordinate of Q minus with coordinate of P. So you have to do accordingly. X with X, Y with Y, Z with Z. So that means -3 minus 0 will be the component for AX. And then 1 minus 2 will be the component for AY. 5 minus 4 will be the component for AZ. And this is your distance vector RPQ. Okay?
Okay.
If it's the other way around, kalau R, Q, P, then terbalik lah. RP minus with RQ. Okay? So the coordinate of P you have to minus with coordinate of Q. And then this is to find the magnitude. Sama lah macam tadi. -3 square plus this one -1 square plus 1 square square root. You will get the magnitude. This one you try and do on your own. Okay. So do you have any questions so far?
So far so good.
So far so good. So I think today is quite simple. So I don't want to burden your mind for our first class. Okay, so now it's 9 o'clock. So I will leave the remaining time for you to revise, do whatever you want. Do your revision, do the exercise. And then at 9:30, I'm going to give you a link for you to do an online exercise. So don't worry, for this exercise, I won't tak ada markah lah. You can just do the exercise and you can repeat as much as possible. Okay. So if you have any difficulties in answering the questions later on, you can just ask me. Okay. But one thing to note, because this exercise I took it from external sources. So I think let me end the video first.